Very good morning to all the viewers and listeners of Hello Kolkata podcast, a Kolkata calling podcast series. Like every Sunday, we are back again today with a very special guest, যাকে আমি shortly introduce করব. Uh, Hello Kolkata podcast has entered its 59th edition today, and it is your love and support for this podcast series, for the Kolkata Calling community page on LinkedIn that we are growing, and we want to thank each and every one of you for the continued love and support that you have provided us. Hello Kolkata podcast showcases eminent individuals from the city, from the state, who have done some brilliant work in their fields. And our guest today is no different. So before I add him onto the main stage, let me give a quick introduction for our guest. Our guest today is someone who is turning his calling into a full-fledged startup which is built around empathy, humility, and trust. Our guest is Manoj Kumar Maity. He's the founder and managing director of MAITYS. MAITYS is an elder care tech-enabled platform which is based for elderly people who are living alone and providing them with support, with care through trust, empathy, and understanding their challenges, their pain points, and solving for them. Manoj's journey into elder care didn't begin with a business plan like most startups are. It began with frequent phone calls from his friends who wanted him to go and support his parents, their aging parents in the city. And from that, the idea of MAITY's elder care came about. We'll listen to the whole story from Manojda, how he went about building this, what were the challenges he faced, and how he turned it into a solid, sustainable business model as well. With a strong corporate background and years of leadership experience, Manojda chose to step in and build something meaningful, a platform, a service that ensures that seniors are cared for with dignity and their families living far away have peace of mind for their parents, for their loved ones. Today, Maity's Elder Care is not just a service, but a lifeline for many families in the city, in the state, and in the country. With that, let me invite Manojda onto the main stage.
Hello, hi everyone, and thanks Subit and thanks Kolkata Calling for inviting me here to share my journey. So thank you very much, and thanks all the viewers.
Manojda, thank you so much for taking time. I know you are very busy. Building a startup, growing it is not, it's not a 9 to 5,
Mhm.
5 days a week thing. It's 24/7.
Yeah,
Before we get into Manojda, the Mighty's genesis, take us
but
a little bit
Subit, it's
back.
always a pleasure to talk about your own journey, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
I manage time for all the time, right? The- okay,
yeah.
yeah, carry on,
So,
please.
so that journey, I am curious about, and I'm sure our listeners and viewers would also want to know. Take us a little bit
Mm.
back because obviously entrepreneurship you started much later, but you also had a long and illustrious corporate career. And
Mm.
obviously, we would love to know a little bit about your early days, your background, your journey through the corporate, and then at what point did this genesis of this idea come about? If you can take us through that.
I guess let me share a little bit of my background so that my upbringing and all, so that it gives some light into my journey, entire journey, right? So I was born and brought up in a very remote village of Sundarban. So I guess you are aware of Pathar Pratima, Sundarban, all these things. So I'm born and brought up in that area where still light, lights, etc. is missing, right? I used to walk around 1.5 hours to 2 hours to reach my school only. So you know after those days I came to Kolkata for the first time, and I being the first member of my family to come and stay in Kolkata, and I got admitted myself to Jadavpur University. So after passing from Jadavpur University, then I started doing something called tuition, vision, etc. Right, for your living and all these things. Okay, so after that, so cutting the long story short, I actually entered into the corporate world. I have worked with various corporates like Tata, Bharti Airtel, Idea Cellulars, all these companies. So largely into telecom companies and all. So after spent around 17 18 years into corporate companies in various leadership role in various domains like sales, marketing, strategy building, all these things. Then all of a sudden, you might have heard that when Cyrus Mistry came in Tata, right? So the huge dilemma was there at that time, at that particular time. And then predominantly I was into sales, and I was doing pretty well. I been into featuring into that national JDM category consequently, and maybe very long period of time. But I have seen that ups and downs in the corporate sector, and then we, especially me and one of my friend or colleague, you can rather say, is Mr. Saurabh Bhattaji. So we decided to do something on our own, right? So the thought was, even though you are doing so great things in the corporate, doing so many things, becoming in the number one JDM category, still you have some threat of your jobs and etc. That forced us to think like should we carry on with the job, or maybe let us be the employer, let us build up something which will enable people in a larger landscape to employ many more people, give them a sort of uh, the way various other companies has been formed, right? So that was the main concept, and then we started exploring various things. So initially, since I was from Jadavpur University, in my early days I was doing some tuitions and so all. So I thought education would be the basic industry where I should be in. But unfortunately, that I started something, but it failed. It actually brutally failed, because so the tutorial and all these things was nowadays flourishing, or mushrooming, you can rather say, right? So that was a kind of failed project in 2018, and then I was started exploring things like then we came up with a preschool chain which was running fine, right? So still we have multiple preschools in Eastern, predominantly in Eastern India, right? So it is by the name of Baby Bunny. But somehow then COVID came in, and the education was the first industry which got hit, and
Yeah.
and preschool was majorly hit, because so your target audience or your students are they are only kids, they are not been able to sit in front of the cameras even, right? So preschool was actually shattered in that time.
Mm-hmm.
Now before that COVID, so now if I can roll back myself to that period, so in 2017 18, where I was into my job also, right? So and since being a JU alumnus, what you have a large number of your friends, your co-students, or maybe some fraternity, JU fraternities, the people are living abroad, right? So
Yeah.
it's a large number of NRIs are there. And I used to get frequent calls from my friends to check out their parents. Like sometimes it's maybe late night. I call from my friends who is in the New Jersey, that he called me. Manoj, can you go there and check out my parent? He might be having some problems, but I'm not able to get connected to anyone who is my neighbor, right?
Mm.
So we did it in some cases, and again we have taken me and one of my friend again have taken one two parents to the nearby hospital midnight to get them admitted to, in a medical emergency scenario, right? So frequently all these things were happening. So there
Mhm.
was back of the mind, I was thinking like there might be many friends, many people from Jadavpur University or even from Kolkata have settled themselves abroad. So it is not only that particular friend that this thing is happening. Might be this is the similar story or similar cases which is happening for rest of the friends as well. So that was there in my mind. This is something like you are always thinking that what these friends will be doing if suddenly any mishap happens.
Mhm.
And now, unfortunately or fortunately, COVID came, and I was then elected as a president, secretary of my housing society. Right, so that was the time. Then many rules and resolution came from the government of India. That was the time you need to go
Mhm.
out for your groceries, and also two times were there. So I think you can recall those days, right? So from 7 o'clock to 9 a.m. again in the evening, maybe 5 to 6. These are the two times where you can go and get your groceries from outside, right? Now, what I used to see a person who is very aged, like 70, 70 above, who cannot even stand straight. Okay, so he is having some disease, maybe it's known as a torticollis or something like that. I am forgetting the exact medical term of that disease. He cannot stand straight, right? But in the
Mm-hmm.
morning, what I used to see that that guy having two big bags, like was getting his groceries from the outside shop, and it was very heavy. Then I called him. So being the secretary, just I wanted to help that guy out. Then I called him, like, and asked, like, why are you taking these two heavy bags with you? You call your at least son or maybe daughter who is there with you. You are not
Mm-hmm.
been able to do that. But that guy said, which touched my heart, that see, I don't have anyone here. Then I
Mm-hmm.
asked, like, don't you have your wife here? He said, yes, he's there. She's there, but she's bedridden. Then I asked for, don't you have any children? He said that my daughter is there, but it is 10 12 kilometers far. It's not again possible to come for her to do all these things, right? So then only I decided, let me do something for these people, right? So because so in those critical days where me, or maybe being a very strong stout person, I'm not been able to do all these things for myself or my family. So how come these elderly people who are even very aged, who can't even stand straight, so how they will do their daily living on all these sorts? So that made me think in this industry, like the people who are supposedly the elder, or maybe 70 and above, these people who are living alone or maybe with their spouse, what I can do, or what my fraternity, like but that time I had a company. Okay, so the people were there in preschooling. They were sitting at home. They are getting salary, maybe part time, full time, whatever, right? So then this thought came to my mind: let us do something for these people with the help of the employees who are sitting at home. So that was the concept. Then I am that impetus imbibed into me, that let us do something for these elderly people. That was the major kind of impetus for which we actually uh, you know gave our everything into this elder care industry.
And Manoj, what you said is obviously something that many working professionals go through in their lives
Hmm.
at this
Yeah.
particular juncture, when they are in their
Hmm.
mid 30s, mid 40s. Their parents are in their late 70s, early 80s. That's the typical age bracket, and it's sad and it's unfortunate that working professionals cannot stay with their parents,
Yeah.
mostly because the jobs are outside, either outside the city or outside even the country. And it is a very difficult, I would say, what should I say, balance that they have to strike between their own professional personal ambitions versus their parents who are staying here. And the parents will never stop them. Parents will never say,
Right.
you come back, help us, because parents always want the best for their children. But what you said,
That nobody will do. Yeah.
yeah, and what you said, Manojda, is that obviously you had been getting these frequent calls from your friends, and you had
Hmm.
identified that there was something here. But this COVID incident for you was the turning point, and
Yeah.
in a manner you sort of pivoted the company, the preschool company, into this
Hmm.
elder care services company.
Right.
uh,
Right.
Tell us a little about this shift, like because obviously you are doing one kind of business services. From that to envisage another completely different kind of offering for a very different
Hmm.
target, like complete opposite, like from preschoolers to elderly. uh, how did you go about
It is a
building
small diaper to the big diapers.
a small type? Yeah, how did you go about
Yeah.
making this transition, not just for yourself, that I will do this now seriously, but also to change the company's dynamics into building Mighty's elder care?
Yeah, so let me go back to that, 6 years. I guess, yeah, it's almost 6 years. So now, I was in bathroom, was thinking, like, the preschool was not happening. People are there at home, they are getting salaries. We are just, burning out of money from our own pocket, right? So that was, this entire thing was, that entire thing made us very cluttered. What exactly to be done, right? So I was in bathroom, was thinking, and in the morning that happened, that I met that guy, that old fellow, right? And then all of a sudden I came out and asked my wife, like, this is what I'm planning. Okay,
Hmm.
so let me, what do you say? These are the old people are there, they are absolutely helpless in these days, right? And I have some people who can be utilized to, to help them out. Initially it was not there in my mind that, I'll be doing, I'll be getting into elder care industry to build a company on that. So that was not in my mind. But yes, some, in the back of the mind there was something in the morning which clicked in my mind that, let us do something, at least initiate doing something for these old people. And how? Because, we have already some manpower. Okay, so some people are there who are employed with us, with this company, say Score Global Educare Private Limited. So these are the people who can be utilized, because, these people are absolutely sitting at home and we are paying them salary, right? So now that was the concept. And then I asked, and then immediately, after discussing with my wife, and then immediately I called, my co-founder. My co-founder was not there in Bangla that time. He was, somewhere in Jamshedpur. And he said, okay, yes, we can do that, right? So instantaneously he said, okay, since we have people, they are not doing anything, they are rather unable to do anything. If even though the people are willing to do something, but still they're not getting anything to do, right? So let us
Hmm.
utilize this manpower to serve the elderly people who are actually in trouble, right? So that was the initial concept. Now the question is what to do, right? So
Hmm.
initially which came to our mind that, groceries to be delivered, because that was the, in those days, just understand, I mean, if you have, gone through those days, like, getting the groceries, milk, all these things, your daily household chores was very very important and it's very very critical, right? So initially we thought of, delivering these things to the elderly people's house. That was the transition. And these people who are actually employed with Score Global, so mostly they are having teaching background or maybe franchise expansion background, something like that. So we just made them understand about, and we asked them empathetically, please get into this and help them out. That was the
Hmm.
initial, thought. And very obvious reason was that, when we are reaching out elderly people and we are saying that, we'll be doing these things, we'll be delivering groceries and all these things, they just didn't believe us. They considered as one more fraud, right?
Hmm.
Like, they'll be
Yeah.
taking money. And
Hmm.
it's very very tough to make, elderly people understand about the new company or new concept is coming out to help them out on a social background, right?
Hmm.
So that was not very convincible, for them. But yes, somehow we could manage early. Like, we still remember, people used to give us, order of, let's say, get us 1 liter of, what is that, mustard oil. Okay. So even though that guy might be needing some more things, but, since a lack of trust and everything, so because, say, elder care is a name where trust is very associated, right?
Hmm.
So that initial days you don't have any trust. People do not know you. People do not know your company. People do not know your face, right? So these are the kind of, hiccups or complications we are facing. But ultimately we managed to at least, identify some elderly people, some elderly family where we used to, deliver these, kind of, groceries and some other household, sort of things. And dhire dhire, like, we made these people think, because, say, one thing was very very clear after, 3 4 months or 5 months of, COVID hitting, our country, that this is, indefinite. Like, we don't know exactly, we don't know where that deadline will come, right? So that was a, since it was a kind of an indefinite period, and we made these people understand, like, let us stick to it. Once it is over, then we may think something different, but let
Hmm.
us for the time being do these things, right? So that was the transformation which has happened. And we both the founders, like, me and my co-founder Saurabh Bhattaji, so we always in a touch with the people so as to make them understand this is also a very noble service. At the end of the time, if you are living, you can say that, and you enable some lives, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
so that was the thing, yeah.
And Manoj, obviously you had a sort of a you know goal that COVID period is when this is the most acute problem for the
Mm-hmm,
elderly.
mm-hmm,
But once COVID sort of is becomes a history, like now we are in a post COVID timeline.
mm-hmm,
But the problem of elderly parents living alone continues to persist, even though
mm-hmm,
the COVID nightmare is not there in our minds,
mm-hmm,
in our lives,
mm-hmm,
but the
mm-hmm.
problem still persists. So,
Yep.
tell us a little bit about how the evolution of Maitis happened, towards the end of COVID, post COVID. And what I would like to also understand is, obviously, I will get into the building of the trust with the families, with the children who are elsewhere, for them
Mm-hmm.
to trust an external party going and meeting their parents, having access, all of
Mm.
that. I'll come to that. But tell us a little bit about the evolution of Maitis, the journey in terms of offering other services as a package post COVID.
Okay. See, first of all, once we are there for maybe we started providing services for 1 2 months, then I have a nature of like exploring things. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
then I started exploring after, let's say, 1 2 months. Then I started exploring what is, like, what is the gamut of the problems, like, depth of the problem, right? I started, exploring things. Then we did around research, a kind of, with approximately, as as far as I recall, it was approximately 1,200 old people, right? So elderly person. We have done a kind of a survey, right,
Okay.
to understand,
Hmm.
like, understand their problem, understand whether they are having a graceful aging sort of thing or not, whether the parent or the family is supportive for them or not, whether the children who are even with them or maybe away from home or not living with them, whatever the scenario is, whether the
Hmm.
children are taking care of the people or not, right? So
Hmm.
these are the few things, on few headers we started exploring things.
Hmm.
Then one big thing which came after this, entire research and everything, then elder care is a very sunshine industry.
Hmm.
This I found it almost, 6 years back, that, you know these elderly people, right? So even though it's 10.5% currently, right? So these people are actually having multiple problems, and if we can provide services under one unified umbrella, then people will start taking services from that organization. So what is
Hmm.
that which came to after this own entire kind of, research and everything, which came to our kind of, bucket, is that first, critically with the elderly people as well as with their children, is the medical emergency support services, right?
Absolutely.
Means if you are not there with them, then if any medical emergency happens, who is there to take care of them? That is the first thing which comes to their mind. Second, now if you consider why medical emergency, because the health monitoring doesn't happen properly. You see, in India, that health monitoring, the basic health monitoring doesn't happen properly. Where if you go outside abroad, European countries and all, there is a government is taking care of all these things, right?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
second biggest thing is that, your basic health monitoring doesn't happen. Third, which is coming out very large, huge, in an alarming way, is that emotional stability of the elderly people, right?
Hmm.
Even though you are staying with your parent, you are unable to understand their mindset,
Hmm.
because, see, you take a very simple case. Once when they retired with 20,000 rupees per month salary, and today you are earning 20,000 per day, right? So see,
Hmm.
simply understand that gap, right? See, they understand 20,000 is a big amount, big money,
Yeah.
but for
Yeah.
you it's not a big amount. It's a for day amount, right?
Yeah.
Again, so they are not very tech savvy. But
Hmm.
you, our next generation, the Gen Z people, so they are absolutely in tech. Even though you are there, they'll not speak to you, right? So, and then who will listen to these old people? They have multiple stories to be told, right? They don't. They have entire day, but they have nothing to do, right? So they
mm,
have stories, they have emotional kind of connect which they want to share with people. They have multiple experiences which they want to share with their next generation, but they're not getting the scope. So the
mm,
emotional instability, which is again the fourth pillar of their problems, right? And the fifth thing is that if we talk about safety of the elderly people, right? Now the safety
mm,
is the thing, like at midnight they went to bathroom and then there is a major fall. Nobody got to know. You don't have any notification, you don't have any technology which is enabling you to get the notification, right?
mm,
Or maybe in the summer days the person went out to get the groceries or maybe get the to do the banking job, but in midway he felt sick, or maybe there's a panic attack, but there is no one to help him, or maybe taking him to the nearby hospital, or maybe taking somebody going to rescue. So these things are not happening properly. So there's a kind of a disconnect of technology, right? And another thing, now the old fellows, they are at a loss at the time. If you wish to call someone for your mechanical work, maybe the AC is not working, fan is not working, or maybe the bill to be paid. So all these are the criticalities. So I talked about five major problems with the elderly people. Now,
mm,
if you being an entity, if you in an individual or being the organization, whoever or whatever you are, if you can provide solutions under one roof, then it will serve their purpose for
mm.
themselves and for their children, right? So then
Yep.
we decided it's not only delivering groceries, there are multiple other things which we have already discussed. If we can
Mm,
provide all these services under one roof, then
mm,
it brings sense, and it
mm,
will solve the larger problem the elderly people are facing. So then
mm.
there we came up with a concept of giving a package, or maybe providing large number of services under one roof. So that was the
Yep.
transformation from groceries to getting a package or getting a kind of 360-degree services for the elderly people.
Yeah, and this is a great journey of the evolution of, I would say, the
Hmm.
platform, the product, the service, however you want to term it. Manoj sir, Manoj sir, sorry, you had said don't call me sir. Manoj sir, also as this was scaling, right? And how did you go about, you and the team, to get, and I'm going to use the term customers, but essentially these
Mhm.
are elderly people
Mhm.
or reaching out to
Mhm.
their grown-up children. How did you go about building the brand, acquiring customers, to for you to be convinced, for you and your co-founder to be convinced that this is actually to be a sustainable business model?
Mhm. Okay. See, initially, for any startup, you know that there are two major constraints. One is money, and the other is right set of people. Because say you don't
Mhm.
have any identity, you don't have any brand value, you don't have a name. So obviously, the good person, good resources will not be joining you. That is a very simple and very obvious reason, right? And in the early days, one more difficulty that you cannot pay a good amount of money to the good resources. So that is why you need to work with a junk, then
Mm.
in a very raw language, right? So what we decided, since we had a very long journey of working with various corporates, so we knew, or we know many people, so our network is good, right?
Yeah.
And especially I since my early days in my corporate, I tried to build up a good network. So initially what I thought, and I convinced my co-founder that in an early fast 100 members should come through our own network. That is the thing we should do, right? That means if you, even if you do, let's say, good amount of good marketing thing in various digital platforms, so people are not able to connect you, or maybe your brand will not be registered at all, because they have not seen you early
Yeah.
anywhere. So it's very difficult to make that presence felt, even though you spend a good amount of money. So we decided that the first 100 members should come through our own network. That is the first thing. And then we hired some people through our own differences, where where the demand is very less, or maybe we are building some people in their professional journey, right? So still I can remember that Madhurima, one my ex-boss's wife, ex-boss's daughter, she also joined with a very less salary, right, in the early days. And I convinced my ex-boss that ask her to join with us and at least start the journey, right? So now the first few customers, one we reached. My co-founder is a very market fund guy, right? So he always try to be in the market, right? He has a very passion to be in market, right? So we kept aside our four-wheelers and everything. So we took out a scooty, right, and went into the market. Okay, so reached out to various families. So since I had a mota good network, then I obviously connected all the people that I am starting these things, and obviously at least try to give our parents to the safe hands who will be taking care of them. So the early days is very challenging because even though you are talking to your friend, there is a kind of two things associated. One, they are not very sure whether you will be able to do that whatever they are wanting. Second,
Sure.
even though you are the friend, but still you are asking some money for the services, right?
Hmm.
So these
Yeah.
two things. So finally, what we managed, okay, so we managed to get some 50, 60 odd members, right? 50, 60 odd members, and ticket size was approximately 20, 25,000 per annum. So that gave us confidence. Okay, so we could manage 20, 25 members, and we could hire some more people to provide services. And we made sure we'll be providing best of the services in the industry, so that I gained the confidence. Okay. And that was a kind of thing. The first 1 year, that was a very hard days for us. You are diluting your pocket is getting uh, what is that it's worst out check. Okay, but finally you have managed to generate the cash flow, and you are able to sustain with some sort of employees and the member trust member kind of satisfaction, or maybe the quality services we provided. And that was the reason, or that may be one of the things which actually made us sure that yes, of course, with this we can build up a sustainable thing.
Yeah.
At least once the
And
startup gets money rolling, na,
yeah.
market से
Yeah.
कुछ पैसा मिल गया है, right? So that means people are trusting you. They are somehow any माने some of the other they are feeling finding कि these are the people. Okay, let me try. क्या होगा max to max 20-25,000 rupees I'll be spending, or maybe I can forego that 20-25,000
Yeah.
rupees.
Yeah.
But with that much amount, we gained that trust. We made sure that our people, or maybe the members, are getting good quality of services. I can still recall that 6 years back, I got one member from Chichuda, that one of my friends colleague, he stays in the States, and he reached out to me and said ki, I heard that you are doing this thing, so can you please take care of my parent? Yes, why not? Even though it is far from Kolkata, but I made sure, okay, so even though I need to spend one dedicated person for that particular member, I'll do that.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
did that. Still, that 6 year older members is still sticking to us. So that is the kind of trust, or maybe you can say that we have already built up.
Yeah. No, and this is very heartening to hear how Manoj, that you're balancing both the business side of it as well as the empathy side of it, which I will come
Yeah.
to to
Hmm.
understand a little bit better your mindset when you're balancing these two things, which can be very challenging for any entrepreneur and any founder. But just to on this point, as you mentioned, the whole gamut of services that Maity's is providing today, and obviously your website is brilliant, encapsulates all of it. But as you mentioned, the different pillars under which
Hmm.
services can be grouped. So you are
Hmm.
providing, emergency assistance, general health monitoring. There is ambulance, doctor.
Yeah.
That's one side of things. Medical medicine supply. That is one
Hmm.
big chunk.
Hmm.
Then
Hmm.
there is people who need some documentation work, bank work, post office. Our older generation really loves the post office. They love
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
the post. They love going to the bank, getting their passbook printed. I
And
have been telling
especially SBI.
SBI. I have been telling my father, why are you getting your passbook printed? You can check it on your mobile, but they have this confidence. As long as the amount is printed on the passbook, my money is there.
Ah, yes,
So
yes.
that's the second thing you're doing. But what is very unique that I saw when I was going through the Mighty's website is, as you mentioned, that the emotional support,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Yes, physical, health wise, caregiver, all of that is there. But the
Hmm.
mental engagement of your, end users, customers, whether,
Hmm.
as you said, whether it is, storytelling, them, just
Hmm.
listening to them. some kind of
mm,
hobby, some kind of activity,
mm,
some kind of,
mhm,
how their mental health is, because obviously they have a very lonely life.
mhm,
So that seems a very very unique value proposition, along with all these hard tangible deliverables that you are providing. Tell us a little bit
mm.
about your experience from your customers, this particular aspect, how it has helped your customers, and what is the feedback, what is the general reaction of the parents as well as their children to this.
See, one good part we should be happy about that, still 90-95% or even more children are taking care of their parents. There are some myth like, the
Yeah.
children are not properly taking care of their parents, but really, maybe if we talk about from a Bengali prospect, if you uh, many people are away from home, many people are away from the country, but they are absolutely thinking about their parents, right? This is what we have seen. There are
Hmm.
few exceptions, very few, where parents are being abandoned, that we also come across, but fortunately a large number of children are taking care of their parents.
Hmm.
Also, the good part is that they also feel that their parents are suffering from loneliness because they are not being there, or maybe the grandchildren are not also there with them. That is one disconnect. Sometimes, see, they reach out to us that we don't need rest of the services because rest of the services have been managed somehow,
Hmm.
but we need a dedicated person who can go and at least connect my parents. Okay,
Hmm.
so that is one way. Second way is that there are many retiree, right, having good profile. Let's say retired HOD of ISI, maybe retired HOD, or maybe retired professor from Jadavpur University. Okay, now what happens with time? Uh, so they become more fragile. That we know, multiple diseases actually come, and uh, you know they are being isolated from the society. That happens. That keeps on happening. In most of the
Hmm.
cases, maybe they are on the verge of getting bedridden and all these things. And with time, uh, maybe a person is trying to write something, but he is unable to, right? A person with his all his expertise, brain is absolutely working fine, but his hands are not moving. He wants to write a book, but he is not being able to. A
Hmm.
person who is very fond of music, unable to sing, but he wants to listen to music, right? A person wants to go and enjoy the theater, but he is not getting his son or maybe the grandchildren or maybe anyone to go to accompany him, right?
Hmm.
So these are the cases where a person who empathetically accompanies them is everything for them. You want
Hmm.
to share your story, a person should be there to listen to and question them. What happened next? Uska baad kya
Hmm.
hua? Right? So now we identified it's just a kind of a mix. You can say that it's a mixed experience from our side and the children's aspect. The elderly people will never say they are lonely,
Hmm.
right? This has also
Yeah.
happened. If you go the elderly's house, if they are living alone, what you can find that this is a very common story. You can find a big size TV mounted on the wall, and it's running 24 hours. Okay,
Yeah.
there might be
Hmm.
serial, there might be some other news, and one of my co-founder visited one such house, and he asked, "Ki there is no one in front of the TV, but still it's running with full volume. Why?" So that was the answer which has been given by the couple. That is very heart touching. That এতে feel হয় যে কেউ না কেউ আছে,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that is the things like those are the stories which actually being a service provider you think that how you can minimize these things, or how can you be another service or another sort of service provider by which you can at least ensure these people are not feeling lonely. And
Yeah.
loneliness bring multiple diseases. If you are
Yeah.
lonely, You just place yourself that one day you don't have anything. You don't have any friend. You have no one to connect. You don't
The
have
will
any
to live,
work.
the will to live goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that was the thing we identified, and we have multiple packages for these emotional competency also, right?
yeah,
A person goes with a guitar, a person goes with a chess, right? Somebody goes with a Rabindra Sangit book or maybe Gitanjali. So multiple things happen. It's a kind of wide range of requirements from these elderly people, right? So,
yeah,
and we just wanted to be a part of their graceful aging. So at least they should be happy. And in some cases also, like a few days back, we had a kind of an engagement day. That we do very frequently. Engagement day, like we call up some 50, 60, 100 odd elderly people from your local areas, and we do a
yeah,
kind of an entire day program. Is
yeah.
lunch, dance, your various kind of sports, various games, everything happens. Entire day they are fully charged up, and then we send them back.
No, this is amazing to hear, Manoj. I will probably just jump a one section and I'll come back to it. But since we are
Mhm,
talking about
mhm.
this problem of the aging population, and which is at the core of the solution that Mighty
Yeah.
is providing.
Mhm.
Um, this is obviously, you started in Kolkata, and obviously you have expanded beyond Kolkata, and we'll understand a
Yeah.
little bit about the scope of services and the expansion plans that you
Mhm.
have.
Mhm.
uh, Kolkata, obviously, for many reasons, historical, cultural, social, it's a city where, of empty nests, as we call it, because the children
Mhm.
have flown. And however, the
Mhm.
culture, the social fabric is so tight, between the bonding between the parents and the children is so tight that they are stuck in this, right? Be with parents, cannot be with parents. As you said, very few cases of abandonment. Those happen,
Mhm.
those come on, and those are
Mhm.
heartbreaking. But as you mentioned, that the cultural background of the city and the state keeps their children attached to the parents, and vice versa. But just expanding this view of this elderly population to, let's say, a pan
Mhm.
India level, the Indian
Mhm.
aging population problem,
Mhm.
from your search study, from your research and working on ground, what have you seen in terms of, let's say, qualitative data, quantitative data? How widespread is this problem from an India perspective? Because for many, decades, we have said India's strength is its, the population, the
Mhm.
democratic dividend, that's going to help us. But obviously,
Mhm.
with time,
Mhm.
the population has started aging, which has hit
Yep.
European and
Mhm.
Western countries much before. Japan is in decline, but
Mhm.
India's
Mhm.
aging population problem is real. Can you share some insights from your experience in this
Yeah.
matter?
So, I have already said that I have a habit of exploring things, right? So once we started doing or started building this company, then I actually wanted to get into the data part, right?
Hmm.
So then I found, you know, this industry is going to be very big, okay? This problem is going to be very huge problem, right? It's just a mass problem. How? Because see, if you study the current data, yeah, around 10.5% of your population is a senior citizen population, which is approximately 154 odd million. That 15 crore approximately. Okay, so that 15 crore population, right? It is becoming 343 million 34 crore by 2050. That means currently it's 10.5%. In coming 25 years, it is becoming 20% of your total population will be senior citizen. That
Hmm.
means if we currently, from a market sizing aspect, it is $25 billion market. And in 25 years, it is going to be $1 trillion silver economy. You just
Yeah.
understand.
Hmm.
From 15 crore to 34 crore. Now, currently, your total population of the United States is 33 crore. Okay,
Yeah.
so the
Yeah.
senior citizen population of India would be 34 crore. Means cumulatively, our senior citizen population will be more than the total population of the United States. So this is how it is now. India is the fastest aging country in the world now.
Hmm.
Okay, so now understand, if you are willing to do something into this industry, this is the right industry, because in the coming 25 years there is no recession, only there is exponential growth, right?
Yeah.
And the second part is that if you are willing to do something into this industry, you are putting your heart and soul into it, you are putting your money, or maybe you are building up something, it will give you money as a byproduct. Parallelly, it will be your satisfaction that ultimately at the end of the day you are into the noble profession and you are giving something back to the society,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So from a
Hmm.
data point, it is a very sunshine industry, it is going to be a great industry to be in. And from a morality purpose prospect, morality aspect, it is something, a kind of a noble profession, it is something, an industry where you are giving back to the society, which you are supposed to do.
Yeah, yeah. And Manoj, that this also flows very well into the next section. But before I sort of go there, I just want to,
Hmm.
understand, because you've done, a lot of research here. So due to, thanks to medical, progress,
Mhm.
our
Mhm.
longevity has been increasing over a period of time.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So that's a, common phenomena. And
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
retirement.
Hmm.
So now, after retirement, there is almost
Hmm.
one third of your life that still remains post
Hmm.
retirement until till the till the end. So the problem of the age elderly is even
Hmm.
further increased, because the retirement age has not increased. Let's say in some places it's 60, 62, 65. In the
Hmm.
west they have made it to 70 in some cases. But
Hmm. Hmm.
even
Hmm.
if you retire at 65, there is another 20, 25 years of your
Yep.
life that remains. And
Hmm. Hmm.
how
Hmm.
can they make it meaningful? Obviously physical ailments, health issues will continue to come, but your overall
Hmm.
longevity has increased. And that is where, obviously the children are, finding the best life for themselves, but also caring for the
Hmm.
parents. How do you make life fulfilling in those 20, 25 years towards the end? I think
Hmm.
Mighty fits very beautifully into that whole picture. And I'm
Yeah.
sure you have done your research and you know that this is, the place to be. Tell us a little bit about how you see Maity's expansion, not just geographically, but also in terms of what else can you provide? How are you making it more tech enabled? Because one thing that came up, in our earlier conversation was the tech based aspect of it. How are you
Yeah.
integrating all of that and your future
Hmm.
plans?
See, we need to look into few things. Okay, so now you maybe you can ask anyone, are you aware of Zomato? He will say yes. Are you aware of Amazon? Yes. Ola, Uber? Yes. Elder care? He will think twice, because
Hmm.
it is very popular thing. Okay. Now, even when this Amazon was not born, Swiggy, Zepto, Zomato was not born, till that time, or even before that, elder care services was prevalent, right? But still, maybe 90% are not very aware of elder care, right? Even if you ask a kid, he will say, "Okay, Swiggy kar do. I need some food, right?" Zomato, so Ola,
Yeah.
Uber, everyone knows. Two things, two reasons. Now, if you think why they have scaled, why each and every person knows about these companies, as because they made it popularized. How? One is technology, second is affordability, right? So two things are there. Now, if you're about to book something through Zomato, and Zomato says you need an annual package to enable you to get the services, then obviously it is a no for you,
Hmm.
right? If Zomato
Yeah.
says I need 2,000 or 5,000 rupees for your membership, then only you will be able to get the services. Obviously, you will not book anything from Zomato, or maybe very less people, right?
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
absolutely need, they will book it, right?
Hmm.
So the first thing, they wanted to develop something which is tech based, right? You have an app, you have a Ola app, you have a Uber app. So all these are very important app. If you open your mobile, you can see that these apps are there in your mobile, right? So these are very important. it doesn't cost you. Even if you book any services, it doesn't cost you as a kind of a membership or anything like that. So they made it affordable that whatever you need, you only pay for that,
Yeah.
and that you will get with the help of technology. Means you have one app, you can see the GPS location, you can see that how much is the cost, who is coming, from where he is coming, what time he will come, everything is visible to you, right? So now if I go back and ask you why this elder care is not popularized, because you have, do you have technology in elder care? Yes, no. Because most of 99% people think that these elderly people are not very tech savvy, they will not be able to book services through app.
Yeah.
But one thing we are not getting into, that elder care services are being booked by their children, or maybe the nearby, or maybe their neighbor, or maybe some other relatives. This is how
Yeah.
95 to 98% of services will be booked by either the children or the neighbor or their relatives, right? So they
Yeah.
themselves book only 2% of the services. That
Yeah.
means the remaining people who are using or who are getting the services for their parents or maybe these elderly people are tech savvy.
Yeah.
If you have a 70-year-old parent, then ideally you can expect that the children is falling into the age bracket of 30 to 40 or maybe 50.
Yeah.
Even if you're in 50 years of age, you can easily handle. You are tech savvy guy,
Yeah.
right? Well, the first thing we misunderstood that technology doesn't have any role in elder care. So this is a
Mhm.
myth, right? So we abolished that. We wanted to bring something which will be tech enabled sort of thing. The second
Sure.
case, elderly care services is known, is a second name is there. It's a NRI services. Why NRI
Hmm.
services? Because the NRI children has a deep pocket. They
Yeah.
will, since they are not there with their parents, so they will get the services for their parents and
Yeah.
with some higher cost. Now that was the crux of things. Like all the children, or maybe the rest of the population, where they, even though they need elderly care services, they are not willing to get it because they feel that this is only for the NRI children who has a deep pocket, who can spend huge amount of money to get the package. They
Yeah.
will book the services, not me,
Hmm.
right? So two things. One is affordability. Second is technology,
Yeah.
right? If you make things affordable, and if you make things affordable with technology, then it is scalable. Then it becomes a product for the mass or service for the mass, right? The way
Yeah.
Zepto, Zomato, Ola, Uber, Urban Company has designed and developed, right? So now, Might is what we have done. We have we after 4.5 years of huge or rigorous service into the market, then we came up with thought there has to be something. We understood that the service has been booked by the young generation who are tech savvy, so we can easily introduce technology. Second, you are a children who is booking the services at the moment you are not there at home. So where you are, if you are there at home with your parents, if there is a medical emergency, you'll be the person who will be taking care of your parents, but right.
Yeah.
But now understand the case, you are in office, you need to go back to your home after 2 hours of drive, or maybe you are not in that city, you are away from the city, or maybe you are not in that country, you are away from the country, right? So there has to be something where a person can book the services without any human intervention, right?
Hmm.
Why? Let's say if you are in different time zone, let's consider you are in the states. Okay, so
Yeah.
if it is a night, they are day, right? So now you are trying to call someone to book the services and it's midnight. Who do you think that is going to pick up your phone and get the services, book the
Hmm.
services? It's not going to happen,
Yeah.
right? Even if you know that somebody is there, and if it is a midnight, late night, maybe 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, he has already switched off his phone and he's sleeping, right?
Yeah.
So now you being the person who is in the states, he is thinking that I know this person and you know the number, you'll call up the person and get the services for your parents. It's not going to happen. Very
Hmm.
simple. So you need to develop something, you need to design something which is geography irrespective of and time irrespective, right? So
Yeah.
now, what we develop one app wherever you are, irrespective of your geographical location, you put that address where you need the service. Let's say you are in the states, you need services at let's say Kolkata, certain location of Kolkata. So you put the address of that particular area. Now, day, night, wherever you are, if it a kind of service requirement, you just click on that. You will be able to see who are the people nearby to your house who can come to your place and get the service or do the services, right? So
Hmm.
you don't need to call up anyone. You don't need to connect even anyone. You just go to app, book the services. As simple as that. Somebody
Yeah.
who is available, he will connect. He will, he will accept the services, and he will then with the GPS and everything, you will be able to see who is coming at what time he is coming after reaching what is he doing. So this is how the technology has been designed and developed. And now
Yeah.
the next part, let's say you need a person to take your father or take your parent to the nearby theater, and you understand that if 1 hour will sufficient to do that job, right?
Hmm.
So you booked a person for 1 hour, which will take me at least 300 to 350 rupees, right? Max. Okay.
Hmm.
So that you are ensuring with 300 and 350 rupees, not 30,000 or 50,000 or 1 lakh, with 300 350 rupees you are getting elderly care services. So I made things affordable, I made things tech enabled. Now
Yeah.
it has become a mass service or mass product. Now people will not say that elder care service is a premium category or NRI services. They will
Yeah.
say that it's a service for the mass. And
Yeah.
that is how my slogan comes: har ghar maitis.
Yeah.
Wherever
Yeah.
there is an elderly, he should be enabled with Maity services. Simply
Wonderful.
download the app, get the services.
Yeah. And which brings me to the next part. And I know, Manoj, that we budgeted 1 hour, so I'll just probably extend a little from your time. Uh, you know, all that you have built, it is very heartening. It also has a very practical business model. There is an addressable market that is
Mm,
growing, as you mentioned, but it also is a very tough sector. As you mentioned, the trust, the
mm, mm.
what should I say, empathy, all of that. It's not a
Yeah,
transaction based
yeah.
relationship with your customers.
Mm, mm,
You have written a beautiful article recently on using emotional quotient, emotional intelligence when building a startup.
mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
why we want to cover and end our podcast with a little bit of understanding about how you view entrepreneurship with empathy, because you are in a particular sector which requires empathy, but you're also
Hmm,
building
yeah.
a sustainable business. Tell us a little bit about your learnings, which you have beautifully encapsulated in the article of success mantra of transforming a startup with strong EQ, strong emotional intelligence.
Yeah. So I love writing. I love reading. So these things are very correlated things with me. See, what I have understood, there are two three types of companies which are evolving all the time. So one, you and since I have spent a good amount of time with Tata, so Tata culture is there. So Tata brings trust, Tata brings empathy, right?
Yeah.
So these things are very very synergic with Tata. So now what I want to do, this is a kind of mantra, or maybe the story I won. There is a kind of an open house in our office. So we used to tell everyone that build up something which is trustworthy, right? Like going forward, people should know that Maitis is a good place to work. Maitis is a trust-based elder care company, right? So that is the thing. Now, understand why I say that EQ, like an EQ has to be there. EQ should be the strong pillar of a kind of building a startup, or maybe building a big corporate from a startup.
Hmm.
Now, it just go back. What Shubit is all about the upbringing. What has happened from 0 to 7 years, right? That is the foundation stage, which we call key. In this period, whatever you teach your kid, he will be as like as that. Like the way, if you teach honesty, or if you imbibe honesty in between 0 to 7 years of age of a kid, he will be honest going forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, if you make him understand that sympathy, empathy, honesty, love, respect, kindness, gratitude, all these are the basic pillars of emotional quotient, right? So भगवान ने आपका एक ब्रेन दिया है, you have IQ, you have EQ, all these things. IQ is a fixed sort of thing, and EQ, we say that if you properly nurture EQ in the foundation age,
Mm-hmm.
you can build a fully grown, genuine, great human being. A human
Mm.
being, a human being, a person who is having love, who is very affectionate, who is honest, who has gratitude, who is kind of empathetic, who has
Mm-hmm.
built up sympathy in him, right? So these are the basic pillar of a good human being, right? So that we know,
Yeah.
and you can nurture this. You can instill all these things into your kid, and that
Yeah.
has a time duration from 0 to 7 years. Now, what
Yeah.
we see now, if I keep these two part, like one is a foundation stage of a human being, and one is a foundation stage of a big corporate, which we call as a startup, right?
Yeah.
So 0 to 10 years is a foundation stage of a big corporate, we call as a startup. So
Mm.
now the way you have instilled all these parameters like in a EQ into your kid, the way similarly or the likewise, if we the people who are associated with the startup can
Mm-hmm.
instill all these things into a startup, then it can become a great corporate. Like the way you have to be
Mm.
sympathetic about your company, right? Empathy for your customers, empathy of your internal customers, empathy of your shareholders, right? So that has to be there. You need to be very, very respectful about your organization. Whatever you are doing, you should respect that. You should feel proud of whatever you are doing.
Yeah.
You have to be very, very passionate about what you are doing. It's like these are the kind of emotional question statement, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So your sympathy, your kindness, you have to be very kind about your client, about your internal employee, about the company, about the funders. Like in the entire ecosystem, you got to be very kind to build a good company. And then only people will say that it's a good place to work, or maybe
Yeah.
a company built on trust or maybe on empathy. So these are the basic pillars or basic ingredients to build a kind of a big corporates from a startup.
Brilliant, Manojda, and I will, encourage my readers to go and visit Manojda's blog website. It's
Thank
manojmaity.com.
you, thank you.
You'll find many, many
Yeah.
wonderful nuggets of wisdom. Manojda, I know we are at the 1 hour mark. So before we close, I had one small rapid fire for you.
Mhm.
So let's see how that goes. Um, you have mentioned the bonding between parents and children even today. Uh, One thing that, in your opinion, every working professional should do for their parents today?
At least spend 5 minutes time with your parents
Hmm. Every day.
every day. At least at least connect. If you're not, even though you are not there, at least spend 5 minutes over a phone, over a video call, and chit chat with them, and
Yeah.
make all the arrangements. If God forbids, if they are having some problem, then make the arrangements so that you can eradicate the problem with the technology or whatever human touch.
Yeah. And we have Maitis for that. So
Yeah,
obviously
please download
that is
my
all.
thesis.
Yes. One myth about elder care that you want to bust
Elder care is a NRI services. It's not for the common people. I just
Yeah.
want to wash out that myth. It
And
is a
make it a
kind of
mass.
yeah. It is a kind of services for everyone. Go get
Great.
Mighty service for your parents.
Uh, you had mentioned the genesis of Maitis sort of came about when you met this elderly gentleman in your society one day during COVID. But
Mm-hmm.
during the course of Maitis, any one moment or experience with somebody, some senior citizen that really, touched you and made you feel that, okay, I'm doing the right thing?
We saved around 45 lives, right? And it's not only the elderly people, but their children when they personally reached out to us and said a big thanks because say they couldn't come, they couldn't reach, but we took care of them and we saved their lives. So then we thought we are into the right industry, and I have reached out to many people when we are saying that we are into elderly care. They
Yeah.
said it's wow only.
Yeah.
It
Um,
doesn't mean that there is no bad story. Yeah,
Yes.
Every good and bad stories are there, but these are the things which actually kept us going.
Yeah. One thing that we can, or one habit that elders can teach us that sometimes we forget in our busyness.
That is, I guess, gratitude part.
Hmm.
We also understand, and most of the time we forget to mention or forget to acknowledge people, which they usually do.
Hmm.
At the
Yeah.
time of in hot summer days, once if most of the time our care manager reaches their house and they bring their
Yeah.
food, sharbat, lassi, and all these things, and they offer them.
Yeah.
Such a kind people, kind mindset. And in most of the cases when they also come to see us or meet us in a office or various engagement, they also thank us, like, see, even though we are spending money, but our life is dedicated to you. So these are the special thanks, or special words which actually keep us living.
Yeah. I know you already mentioned Har Ghar Maitis is a tagline.
Yeah.
My question
Hmm.
was, if Maitis Elder Care had a tagline, what would it be?
Yeah, it should be Harghar Maitis.
Yeah. And Manoj, just to, before we close our podcast, you have built something very, very special from
Hmm.
Kolkata for the country rather, and we wish the entire team of Maitis, all the very best on this journey. But for other entrepreneurs, other people who are starting up, trying to solve a problem, what would your message, advice be to them uh, when they are on that journey of their own?
See, always try to get a co-founder, and he should be opposite. If you are very hardworking, then that guy should be something like, he should be calm, quiet, composed. Which actually, in my case, there will be many ups and downs.
Hmm.
You need to build yourself for the downtime. It will come, and if it is not coming, your startup is not going to sustain. So
Yeah.
there will be multiple downtimes. You need to do one thing. You need to keep going.
Yeah.
If you feel that there is a kind of a dum in the idea, so keep going. Many
Yeah.
people will say, or at many times you'll be feeling that this is becoming too hard for you. But make sure, once that hurts and hard period is over, you'll see the sunshine only. So keep
Yeah.
going. That is the
Yeah.
only message. Don't quit or don't leave things. Keep going.
Yeah. Manoj, the last question or ask. You have been working in this space of elder care, saving lives, making lives better. If you had to give one message to the professionals whose family, loved ones are away from them, what would your message be to them who are listening to this?
Uh, See, my message to the people who are actually away from the home, so keep that connect life. All right. So always stay connected. Whatever format, whatever forum it is possible. Maybe over the phone call, maybe frequent visits, or maybe a kind of emotional touch with a letter, or maybe if it is letter, if the letter is missing, then have a sort of chit chat and stay connected.
Yeah.
That resolves many things, because the elderly people, there is a tend to be lonely, there is a tendency to be to be alone, because also they are not getting people to accompany. So we need to
Yeah.
understand that these people needs to be nurtured, needs to be monitored, needs to be touched in the way we are touching, or maybe connecting our kids, that they're in the second phase of their childhood. So we need to
Yeah.
understand that.
Thank you so much, Manoj. Finally, for people who want to start using Maitis, where can they go? What can they do? Please let us know.
So it's very simple. We have a website, maitis.in, www.maitis.in. Our Elder Tech is an app, which is the revolutionary app. If you go to Play Store or iOS, Android, iOS, both the platform we are available. So just type Maitis. You can say Maitis Elder Tech, download, and put the address of your parents where you need the services. Do
Wonderful.
this basic job for your parents.
Thank you. Thank you, Manoj. The
And
not just sorry, please go ahead, Manoj.
yeah, and thank you, Sumit, and thank you, Kolkata Calling. And this is a great initiative, and I'm very happy to
Sure.
share my journey, because these are the platforms where you, being a founder, at least acknowledged, and you can share your journey and you can reach out to many people. So these are the platforms, or these are the forums where also you are enabling the startups, right? So thank you very much, and thank you, viewers. I'm sure you are taking care of of your parents, and if you can, if at any given point of time, if you need the additional support for your parents, you can download MAITYS Tech app. We are there 24/7.
Wonderful. Thank you, Manojda, for the kind words for Kolkata Calling. But uh, what is very special for me in this particular episode is not just the wisdom and the practicality and the business side of things which you shared as an entrepreneur. How to build sustainable, profitable, long-term businesses and grow them, but also how to sort of instill those values in your organization for your customers, for your employees, and do something really special in this elder tech or elder care field, which is often neglected because of ignorance or because of uh, misunderstanding of what elder care is. So thank you for clearing those myths. Thank you for bringing Mighty for this elderly people and their children who really, really want to be there for their parents, but unfortunately, for some reason, they cannot. For them, Mighty's is a wonderful, revolutionary solution, and we wish the entire team of Mighty's you sort of the all the very best, and may you continue to grow and shine and make Kolkata very proud. With that, we'll close the podcast for today. Thank you, Manoj. Sir.
Thank you, thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.